Okay, looks like we're online. Gonna welcome everybody to episode 5 of the Shadow Collective podcast. I'm Darth Eldor, and here today I have my good friends and co-hosts Swampgrass and Andy Beads. How you both
Hi.
doing today?
Hello. Doing
Yep.
great, doing great.
Doing wonderful. Wonderful.
And we've definitely got a lot to cover today, so I hope you guys are
Hope you
ready.
guys brought some water or something to drink, 'cause there's a lot of talking here.
Might want to grab a snack or
Yeah.
two while you're at it.
Yeah, that's right.
So last time we were on, we had started covering the Bad Batch season 2, along with it was our preview for 2023. Unfortunately, we only covered about 4 episodes. So here we are. This week just passed. It was episode 11, and we just started the first week of The Mandalorian as well. So I mean, excited for the fact that we have more than one thing to watch every week now.
For a bit, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome.
um,
Really enjoying that.
Yeah, definitely. So, I think at this point, why don't we just get right into the Bad Batch, seeing as we have a lot of catching up to do there. And yeah, let's get started. Anybody want to start with episode 5? Want me to start with it?
When do you guys go ahead? I'm just setting up a notification for us here.
Okay.
Okay. I'll start. I'll start with episode 5 then. We episode 5 was named Entombed. Aired back on January 25th, and we can go into the synopsis of the episode, which was: while searching a junkyard for useful salvage, Omega and Wrecker find an ancient compass containing a set of coordinates towards the uncharted Kaldar Trinary that carried the promise of treasure. Fee, Genoa, and Omega persuade the Bad Batch to set out for the system, where the compass leads them to Skara Null, the resting place of a legendary crystal, the heart of the mountain. They find the stone, but upon removing it, Skara Null is revealed to be an ancient doomsday mech, which begins running amok. The Bad Batch and Genoa manage to return the crystal, which deactivates and destroys the machine. It was directed by Nathaniel Villanueva. It was written by Christopher Yost, and some of the guests that were on were it was Liam O'Brien as Bolo. I'm not sure who he is.
The actor or the character?
The actor.
Okay.
Same thing with this actor, Sam Riegel, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, as Ketch. And then obviously Wanda Sykes as Fee Genoa, which I think she's done a great job as her character so far.
She was hilarious, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was watching it in front of my wife, and she wasn't even watching it, and she was just hearing Wanda Sykes' voice, and you have to laugh when you hear Wanda Sykes. You know what I mean? Like, she just has these punchlines, and you're just like, oh yeah. So my wife was like, oh, it's, getting a kick out of it, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So what'd you guys think of this episode?
I thought it was really good. I really liked that mech. I thought it was pretty darn cool.
The mech kind of reminded me when it popped out of the ground. It reminded me of War of the Worlds, like right out of it, like those big like things coming out, like just starting to kill things and shooting things. Yeah, just big dangly thing. I don't know. It was weird, man. Like it was weird seeing it come out of the ground. It was pretty cool though too.
That's funny because it's like I think it was the last thing I expected to see pop up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, the thing I enjoyed the most was the fact that, I mean, even going through it's like this, just seeing something that ancient come up, and they're saying it predated the Jedi, it predated, and you could almost imagine if possible, if Palpatine knew anything about it, he would definitely been looking for something like that.
Yeah.
And
Oh, for
possibly
sure. That's
dropping
right
it
up
on a
his alley.
planet and just letting it loose.
Yeah, well, I mean, Palpatine was known for finding relics and these ancient things and having them for himself, right? Like that's what Mount Tantus is. That's basically what it was in the old or the legends books, right? Mount Tantus was his like sort of the same like Hitler. You know, Hitler had his little obsession with the you know the ancient stuff and the alien stuff and whatever it was. Sort of same thing with Palpatine. So it seems like up his alley for sure.
Yeah, I love that they brought Mount Tantus back for
man,
this too.
So cool.
So
yeah. That's later on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've already been there a couple times, so.
Well, yeah, I guess, but it's coming up.
Yeah, when they were talking about predating the Jedi and stuff like that, I thought for sure it was gonna pop up as like a Sith temple. Like I just in my mind, that's what it seemed like it was gonna be. And then when it was a mech, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
That's what you were feeling. Yeah, it was you're feeling like, oh yeah, this is a temple. It's got to be because I mean with the other temples there was no like puzzles and booby traps and all this stuff like this anyways. Like this kind of felt to me as you're watching it, it felt Indiana Jones sort of ish, you know, like
yeah,
with the puzzles
the
and stuff.
Traps, yeah,
booby traps with Omega throwing the rock across the pedway there just to make sure that it's safe, sort of like similar to Last Crusade where Indiana Jones throws the rocks across that pathway before he goes to the thing. Like there's some like similarities, right? It was pretty cool. Like, and you can tell it's Disney, like it's through and through like a Disney. The music was so ominous, like it's crazy.
Yeah, it almost feels like a little bit of a nod too, considering we're supposed to be getting Indiana Jones this year. And... Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think overall decent episode. It wasn't my favorite episode, but I think that's more because when it comes down to it, next couple episodes after that were just amazing in my eyes. But
yeah, well, this is one of those fillers, right? It was a better filler than some of the other fillers, right? So
yeah, absolutely. It brought out some things that I didn't expect to see, so it made it much more interesting.
Yeah, as far as filler, like I was very engaged, so they did a good job with that episode for sure. Like I really felt like I was you know, in the moment doing the booby traps and all that stuff, you know. It was good. I like that episode.
All right, should we move on to the next one?
Sure.
All right, who wants to take this one
on? I'll take it, yeah. So this is episode 6 called Tribe, aired February 1st. The Bad Batch meets the Vanguard Axis for a job until Omega ends up helping Gungi, a Wookiee Jedi youngling, escape from his cartel captors. Intending to return him to his homeworld, the Bad Batch finds Kashyyyk being ravaged by a group of Trandoshan mercenaries working for the Empire. After winning a local tribe's trust, the clones join the Wookiees and the indigenous wildlife in their fight against their Imperial opponents. The aggressors are eventually defeated, and Gungi is reunited with his people. Directed by Stuart Lee, who's done a bunch, and written by Matt Michnovetz, which is he's also the story editor of the whole Bad Batch and stuff. Like, so he works with the story. And a bunch of guest voices: Jonathan Lippo as Gungi, Trandoshan tank commander and cartel droid number 1, Shelby Young as Iana, and Axis droids, Noshir Dalal as Axis leader, JP Karliak as Venomore and cartel droid number 2. What do we think? What do you guys think?
Easily one of my favorite episodes. Number one,
because we get to see a Jedi again. Yeah.
Well, yeah. That's a big part of it, but it was just wonderful because I mean, this is one of the Jedi children that we saw back in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And it's just good to see that he survived Order 66, but it also now leads me to this idea of I wonder how many more of them survived, and it would be nice to see if all of that group maybe survived. Maybe they helped each other get out. I would like to go back a little bit, maybe even see how he was able to get away.
Yeah.
I just think as you start to see characters come back, you almost kind of want to start seeing that story. It's like people barely survived Order 66. How did they get through?
Yeah.
We were able to go back at the first episode of Bad Batch when the first season was there, and that's how we found out how Caleb Doom, aka Kanan Jarrus, survives. And it's even as we started going through, it's like we're starting to get the idea of how Grogu survived. We're starting to see how Reva survived. How it's just good to see us starting to see more and more of what Order 66 really was.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
true.
feel like there's a lot there that they could definitely do with that. Like going into the future, like you said, if they could probably do like a whole show or maybe a movie or something around that, that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, something about when you see a lightsaber, just you just light up, right? It's like,
Well, I
oh
mean,
man.
right? Your eyes, you're like, oh yes, because we don't see it. We're not seeing it too much in this series, right? So
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
it's a nice refresher, but yeah. Um, yeah, it was pretty. It was a good episode for sure. Like you see them helping out a youngling, a kid. You know, obviously he's still a child or whatever it is. So it's um, it's nice to see them bring him back. Nice to see Kashyyyk again. Um, the those spider creature things, man. Like even though they were cartoon, man, they still creep me out. I hate spiders, so it was kind of weird. Like, oh man, I,
The,
I have
the
a little bit
spider
of
thing.
arachnophobia. So
The spider thing I thought was really awesome because, like, for myself, I read a lot of fantasy novels, and
yeah,
like that's kind of a concurrent theme in a lot of fantasy novels that I've read. There's always like this like forest where it's thick with
mm-mm,
these
mm-mm,
ominous spider
mm-mm.
monsters, and
Nope,
yeah, it's kind of like
nope.
almost nostalgia in that sense too, like just you know a general fantasy throwback thing.
Man,
Cool.
like when he was like at the end there when they surrounded the main Trandoshan there at the end, and they were pulling him up, and he was just screaming bloody murder, like up going up as he's going up. I'm like, man, that is creepy AF. Like, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, but anyways, it was still cool though because it kind of reminded me like when he was when Gunji was like using the force to like talk to them. It kind of reminded me of like Ezra, like how he was doing
Hmm.
stuff in Rebels, which was pretty neat. But yeah, it was pretty cool to see the Wookiees again. I was kind of like when the Wookiees appeared, I was like, maybe one is like Tarful, and I knew one wasn't going to be Chewbacca, but maybe one could be Tarful, right? But
Yeah.
they did. But
But
anyways,
they also left it open enough that you get the feeling that they might come back to it at some point, and you never know. You might run
yeah,
into them
maybe, yeah,
then. Even like in the first season when they went to and you they went around, you saw like Champ Syndulla, and you saw Hera for the first time, and they kind of left that open. I'm kind of hoping they go back to that because I want to see some more of that story as well.
right.
There's well, there's just so much you can go into.
Well, it's cool though too, because like there's so yeah, exactly. There's so much stuff to go into, and like who knows, like does Gunji survive this whole time and becomes part of the rebellion? That'd be pretty cool to like know that there's a Wookiee Jedi that was part of the rebellion. Um, all that time, because I mean, we know eventually Ahsoka does perish at some point, because she's not around in the other ones. But
Yeah.
yeah, but it'd be pretty cool. Like,
Yeah. I just thought of something that'd be kind of cool if he appears in that Soka series.
yeah, yeah,
Actually, that would be
yeah,
kind of fun to see.
yeah.
But
Because it's like Bad Batch. I think it's like somebody was saying it was like 25 years in between. I think between Bad Batch and the Mandoverse. I think.
um,
Okay.
yeah, you've got to figure sometime in that period because you're talking about. I mean, The end of Return of the Jedi, Luke was about mid-20s or so. So that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, because I think between Jedi and the Mandoverse is like what 5 or 6 years. That's what how they were pinging it.
Yeah, that's what they were
like
talking about. That was something I was going to bring up later as well, but I'll save that for later too.
Yeah, we can talk about that later. But yeah, anything else about the episode that chimed out for you guys? Like,
I think we covered
stuck out?
everything.
Yeah.
Just great, awesome episode. Hope they go back to it. That's about as far as I got.
Cool.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the favorites for sure. For sure.
Oh yeah, that was one of the favorites. But this one, the next two right now, the double header, because this was a 7 and 8 were on the same night, right?
Yeah, they
So
were.
it
Yeah.
was so this is for me, these ones are my favorite here, I think.
So
Um,
yeah, I'll read those ones.
Okay.
Or do you want me to do both? Like, do we want to do both at once here, or do one at a time?
some one at a time. Probably be a little
Okay.
easier.
All right. So episode 7, the clone conspiracy, aired February 8th. In the Imperial Senate, Rampart pushes for passing a bill authorizing the military recruitment of Imperial citizens, meaning that the clones will be officially discarded. Senator Rio Chuchi, who defends the clones' fundamental rights, is approached by clone trooper Slip, whose friend Cade was murdered on Rampart's orders when he defied the official version of Camino's destruction by a storm disaster. Chuchi begins to investigate Rampart's conspiracy, alerting the admiral, who sends an assassin after Slip. Just as Chuchi tries to convince Slip to testify, the assassin kills him. Before Chuchi can suffer the same fate, she is rescued by Rex, whom Slip summons for help. Rex and Chuchi prepare to question the assassin, a clone, but he kills himself before Rex can acquire the information from him. Guest voices, we have Phil Lamar as Bail Organa, Senator Raduli, and Senator Raduli, Jennifer Hale as Commerce Guild Senator and Senator Chuchi, D. Bradley Baker as Cade, Captain Rex, Clone Troopers and Slip, Steven Stanton as Maz Almeida, Noshir Dalal as Pantaran Guard and Vice Admiral Rampart, Shannon Duncan Brewster as Senator Pamlo, directed by Nathaniel Villanueva and written by Ezra Notchman.
Yeah, the D. Bradley Baker, I put that in there just because he's usually just the clone troopers, but they added the Captain Rex and Cade, so I just threw that in there. But just so you know, D. Bradley Baker does all the clone troopers.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I was just happy to see Phil Lamar and Jennifer Hale. I mean, both are from. They did voices for Knights of the Old Republic. I forget exactly who Phil Lamar was. I want to say he was Jolie Bindo. And Jennifer Hale, of course, Bastila Shan. If you want to go into the Old Republic, she was also the voice of Satele Shan. Just great to see these people that have been doing voices for Star Wars for such a long period of time come back and finally starting to do more. It's just good to see.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Well, I know Phil Lamar as, like, I don't know to the extent that you know him with the video games, but Phil Lamar, I know him from Mad TV. That's how I know him.
Yeah,
Back.
I remember him from that too. But
a while back, but I know, I don't know the video game stuff that great. So
he's actually done a lot of voice work, and not after he left Mad TV, and like I said, he's done a lot with Star Wars, and it's just good. Like I said, just good to see him back and doing more.
didn't he do one of the voices for on the Resistance show too?
It's possible. I didn't go too deep into the Resistance show, but that was just me.
I watched it for a bit.
It's like I ended up
Who
watching
was
it
on
all.
the
But
Resistance show?
Phil Lamar. I thought he did a voice
okay.
like the main, one of the main guys on. the
Yeah, he could
Resistance show.
be. There was a. Yeah. I did watch that show quite a bit. Yeah, the main mechanic guy, I would imagine, would be the. Like, it kind of sounds like him.
That's what I was thinking too. But anyways, yeah, that's just another subject, I guess. Another time.
I mean, all that being said, I mean, this was, like you said, this is one of the best episodes they've done for the entire series. Never mind just for the season. I mean, it was just, I mean, you were drawn into it from the very beginning. When Kate gets killed, you're wondering how Slip's going to get out of this. I love how they kept alluding to the idea that it might be Crosshair that was up there, picking people off up until you found out.
Well, to me, I thought like when you're just looking through the Crosshair, that's when I thought it was Crosshair. But then when you look at his mask, I mean, obviously, I don't think he's changed his mask. So you're like, okay, well, it's not Crosshair, obviously, because he's got a different mask, right? So
Yeah, when they finally draw it back. Uh-oh.
hello,
Be there.
yeah, are you breaking out?
I actually thought I lost the podcast for a second.
Oh, dang.
Okay,
Yeah,
good to see we're still good.
Glad that didn't happen. Glad that didn't.
Yeah, all right.
But yeah, I mean, it was, everything about this episode was good to me. I mean, just seeing the mystery of it all, having characters like Rex come into the fold, even just see at the moments where you looked and all of a sudden I know where here's Bail Organa on the side, and it's just there's just very well done.
Yeah, it was. It's cool. Like it's cool when you see like this one had a little bit of like the politics side of it, right? So you see these bills they're trying to pass. You're in the Senate. They're going back and forth, like stuff like that. Like, I mean, I'm not huge into politics, like, but it is neat to see that side of it, even if you don't understand it too much. Like, but it's just neat to see that kind of stuff and seeing Bale, obviously, and like. I think the droid that R2, what is his name? R2C4 was in an episode or two with on Clone Wars, or I don't know, before or whatever it was. And then yeah, the shootout at the end, and then yeah, it was all good, man. And then they're starting to realize that the whole the whole thing with Rampart was he's covering it up, and there's I didn't think at the end they were actually going to show that proof, to be honest. Like the video, I thought there was going to be something that happens where the video doesn't show up and Rampart gets away with it and blah, blah, blah. But
you're an episode ahead of yourself.
Oh, I am, aren't I? It just matches together. Sorry.
No, I get
it. This one ends with this one ends with the assassin killing himself. Okay, never. Sorry. I just got rolling, man. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it went back to like sort of main story, so to say, rather than like a side quest kind of thing. So yeah, I really like that. It was really awesome episode. Well, 2 episodes, of course.
Well, yeah, a lot of this story is about the clones and what's going to happen to the clones and all the politics happening with the clones, right? So it's yeah, definitely the arc of this season or the show or whatever. But yeah, no, it was a good one.
Yeah, like I said, definitely excited to watch it. Can't wait to see more of it. Yeah, I guess that's all I've got. All right, so let's move on to the next episode. I'll take this one up. Episode 8 was called Truth and Consequences. Also aired on February 8th, along with episode 7. This one was directed by Stuart Lee, written by Damani Johnson. That is one thing I am surprised by, was that there were two separate directors and two separate writers for the two parts. Because I thought it was very well interwoven. It felt like it was only written by one person along the way, but moving right along.
Well, I mean, in reality, yeah, Dave Filoni was overseeing it all, right? So
Yeah,
I mean,
and, yeah, good point.
so.
But
anyways, yeah.
yeah, so Rex contacts the Bad Batch and asks them to join him and Chuchi, who tell them about Rampart's plot. To provide evidence against him, Rex asks Rex asks the Batch to retrieve Slip's copy of Rampart's command log from his Star Destroyer, which is undergoing maintenance. While Omega accompanies Chuchi, who tries to get more support from the Senators, Rex and the rest of the Batch sneak aboard the cruiser to retrieve the data. The next morning, with the evidence in her hands, Chuchi exposes Rampart's attack on Kamino before the Senate, and he is arrested. But using the revelation of Rampart's atrocities to his advantage, Emperor Palpatine argues for the passage of the Defense Recruitment Bill into law. Before the Batch leaves Coruscant, Echo decides to stay behind to help Rex and Chuchi fight for a better future for the clones. Guest voices for this one, we have, again, D. Bradley Baker as the Bad Batch, Captain Rex, Clone Troopers, Phil Lamar, this time as Bail Organa and Senator Verduli. Jennifer Hale's back as Commerce Guild Senator and Senator Chuchi. We have Ian McDermott show up to voice Palpatine again, which gotta love it. Jamila McMillan as Halle Bertoni. Stephen Stanton as Masameda, Nosher Dalal, and Nosher Dalal as Vice Admiral Rampart. That's what we're thinking, guys.
Well, you already know what I think about this episode. I started. But oh man, go ahead.
Yeah, it was really awesome to see Palpatine again. That's one of those things that's like, whenever that happens, it's very exciting. Very exciting.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was huge. And then just same as the last episode. You're back onto the main story, so to say, and just so good. Those two episodes, they just the best.
I mean, I think the best part about it for me was, I mean, you almost get to see what you liked so much about the Bad Batch in the very beginning. Like you see them going through and they're just able to get through and run their mission smoothly. Like in the first season, there was a lot of them having to fight off different clones, but you never see them trying to actually kill clones. They're always studying them all, and they just seem to find to work their way around them, and just all fast paced, and it's just keeps you pulled into what's going on, and a lot of that was exciting. And then even on the other side, like I said, I mean, you have the Senator Chuchi, who's sitting there meeting with Bail Organa, who's given her ideas of what to do, just working the inner workings of the Senate to try to get after this Vice Admiral Rampart, who's trying to kill her along the way. It's just so much going on, but at the same time, you're wondering how this all fits into a 30-minute episode.
Yeah, it was neat to see, like, how this, obviously Palpatine had this plan the whole time. Like, it was his plan. He foresaw this plan, like, even though it seemed like, Rampart got exposed and all this stuff, but all in all, like, what Rampart was trying to do, Palpatine got it done, but used him as a pawn in the meantime, just like any Empire officer would do, or whatever, to move ahead with a plan, right? This is what the Empire is, right? But just the fact that he, he foresaw this the whole time, right? It was so cool, like, and just to say, trying to drill it, brainwash people into saying that this is what we need, this is blah blah blah, this is what we need, Imperial Stormtrooper army or whatever, right? It's
Yeah.
really cool. Really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it's one of those moments where, yeah, you realize the whole thing was all part of the plan, every little bit of it.
It
So,
is.
yeah.
The whole thing was him, man. Like everything.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
So,
just like the Clone Wars, right? Like it's all every little bit of that, like the separatists, everything about it was all part of the plan, right?
well, essentially, if you
Pretty-
look at it, it's kind of the same thing he did to get the clone army. You know,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
It's just a little different, right? Or well, a tiny bit different, but it's essentially the same thing. Like,
It's just funny because you look at it and it's like he's just prepared for every possible angle, and it's yeah, it's amazing just how much of a excellent puppet master he truly was.
but to go back on the whole like the whole Bad Batch clone Force 99 doing their job, doing what they were built to do, like running smooth missions, um, stunning. They're not killing anybody. They're not killing their brothers because they know that it's not their fault. Like they're still confused. They the chips and all that stuff are messing with everything. So they're still their brothers, whether or not they know what they're doing or not. Um, and it was just nice smooth missions. Sad to see Echo go at the end, but I think it's the right move. I think.
Well, I don't think it's the last we'll ever see of him either. So
No, definitely not. Well, no, as we'll see later. But yeah, all in all, it was a good episode for sure. Like those two for sure together was. It's nice. It's nice these double episodes when they bring them in. Obviously, the double episodes are there for a reason. To have the arc of the story, sort of like continue, I guess. Because I mean, all these other ones, most of the stuff in the between seem like they're a lot of fillers. With maybe a little too much filling. I don't know. Like, what do you guys think?
I do tend to think that is a problem that they have with this show sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think somewhere through the middle of the season, they've done a better job of adding things that take away from it. Just enough to make it feel like it's not like a complete waste of a watch.
Well, they do a lot of fanfare stuff too. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah, some Easter eggs and stuff like
yeah,
that.
exactly.
I
But yeah, for me, like I don't feel like it's too much filler because I feel like inherently the Bad Batch kind of is a side story. So for us to get like side stories kind of just seems natural to what their story would be. Like
Side
we're not
stories
gonna
from the side stories.
yeah, like we're not gonna see them like going up against you know, Darth Vader or something like that. It just wouldn't make sense thematically, I don't think.
Well, no, of course not.
Yeah,
You
I
know
mean,
what I
I
mean?
wouldn't. Yeah, I don't think anybody really expects that, but at the same time, I mean, you kind of want it to feel like you know what they're going up against, and you know what they have to fight. But at the same time, you kind of want. It's almost like they say, just stay on target. You kind of want them to stay on target a little bit sometimes, and sometimes you look at some of the episodes and it's like, what are they doing over there? What does that have to do with anything? I mean, and sometimes it comes back and you see, okay, all right, now I understand. A couple times it hasn't though.
Right.
Yeah.
There's one thing about the last episode too was the fact that there was no Clone Force 99 at all in that episode, and they were still able to like run that episode and be probably was one of my favorites, and like the Clone Force wasn't even in it, right? So it was pretty neat. I don't know how many episodes, like, has there been many episodes where they haven't been involved in the episode at all? Like, do you guys remember anything back?
I want to say there was one other one. I'm trying to remember it.
Sorry, what was the question, Andy?
Whether or not, because the episode 7 didn't have Clone Force 99 at all in the episode. I'm just wondering if you guys remember back in the other season whether or not there was one or two episodes like that where we didn't see Clone Force 99 at all.
feel like there was one episode where it was just Echo. I don't know if that's correct or not, but it feels like that might have been a thing. Or no, sorry, not just Echo, just Crosshair, like his story with the Empire.
Right. Yeah, there was that one. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
true. Yeah, there was.
actually, if I remember correctly, that was
Oh yeah, that
the
was this season.
no, that was from they did it last season as well when
Oh,
during the time on Ryloth. When they went to go see Champ Syndulla and they were starting to work on trying to convince Ryloth to join the Empire, and they didn't bring. There was a 2 episode arc. They didn't bring him in until the second episode. But Crosshair was there as part of the Empire group, trying
Right,
to
right, right.
stop them.
Right. I guess it would have been the first couple episodes too, right? With when Commander Cody was on the show, right? I don't think Clone Force was in that one either.
Mm,
yeah, I think that's correct.
yeah, that's right. Because that was mainly a Crosshair episode.
Yeah, Crosshair and Cody. Okay. Okay.
By the way, I looked up because we were talking about whether that Resistance voice was Phil Lamar.
Yep.
So I decided to look it up. It's actually Scott Lawrence, who's the official audio double for Darth Vader. So he's the one who did that Yeager mechanic
Yeager.
guy.
Yeah, that sounds about right, actually. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Not super important, but I thought I'd look it
Yeah,
up. 'Cause
well,
I was
I mean-
curious now, you know.
The question it was kind of left unanswered, I guess. So
Yeah,
it's good to bring it up later for
Yeah.
for you guys out there,
yeah.
so you guys know.
Inquiring minds do
Not
want
that
to
there's
know.
an internet in front of you at all. Like you get it from us, okay?
Yeah, we're super official over here. Yeah.
There is no Wikipedia. We are the Wikipedia now.
We are the
Yeah.
Wikipedia, yeah. Trademark pending. All right. Episode 9. I'll take this one.
All right.
Okay, so we're all done with the other one, right? We're good.
I believe so.
All right, episode 9, The Crossing, aired February 15th. Sid sends the Bad Batch to extract some Ipsium mineral from a mine she recently purchased, but during the expedition, their ship is stolen. Oh no! Forced to trek towards a spaceport, they are buried inside another mine when their recovered Ipsium is detonated by a lightning storm, of course. Having trouble dealing with the recent sudden turnabouts, Omega discovers an Ipsium vein, but while trying to harvest it, she and Tech get separated from the others and have a talk about adapting to changes in life before they find an alternate way out. They find the spaceport abandoned, but manage to contact Sid, who grudgingly agrees to pick them up in a few days. By grudgingly, she cut them off.
Yeah.
Guest voices Rhea Perlman as Sid, directed by Nathaniel Villanueva and written by Brooke Roberts.
Yeah, one thing that I really like about not just this episode but the one after as well, is I feel like it's kind of bringing some character development between Tech and Omega, who are very opposites, right? Like she's very emotional. He's like Mr. No Emotion,
Mr. No
robotic.
Emotion. Yep.
Almost sometimes reminds me of like a robot, like C-3PO or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're starting to see a little bit of like, you know, trying to see each other's way and relationship forming between the two of them. I think that's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, this episode was definitely a character development episode for sure between the two of them, just to find out a little bit more about Tech. Omega kind of showing off her kind of teenage temper tantrum, sort of, you don't understand me, storming off into a dark cave and all this
Harvesting
stuff.
dangerous materials by herself.
Yeah, right. But it was cool. Like, I don't know, like it was probably not the greatest episode, you know, like obviously a filler, but I mean definitely a character development episode between the two of them for sure. And you kind of get to see, like, we know Sid as being sort of like, we still don't know what she's going to do, and that I can't remember his name from that episode where he told the Bad Batch to watch out for her or whatever it is. Like, I still feel
yeah,
that I still feel there's going to be
boss
something.
guy.
Yeah, I still feel like there's going to be something that she's going to do, and you kind of get to see a little bit of where she's like, I don't want to help you. Well, I don't, deal with it yourself. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't. She's coming off. They're doing it well. Like, she's coming off as being a I don't know, a bitch, I guess.
Yeah,
You know?
heartless, like more of a survivor than somebody that actually cares about them.
Right. You got to think, like, is there something there's definitely got to be something like underlying, like something's going on for sure. Like,
The guy's name was Malegi.
Malegi. Yeah. Malegi. Okay.
But
he was voiced by Ernie Hudson.
Yes.
Right.
That I knew.
I'm not gonna lie, this was not one of my favorite episodes.
It wasn't like super great, like,
I understood what they were trying to do. Again, with I saw it with them trying to develop the relationship between Omega and Tech. Obviously they want to implant that idea that Sid's gonna pretty much double cross him at some point. But yeah, a lot of the story there was just like I'm sorry. It's just where I am with this one.
Hey, it's your opinion, man.
Your own.
My only thing is, it's just after coming off of the episodes that we had, where so much was going on and so much great stuff was happening, and then suddenly we come to this one episode where it's just back to the standard side mission for the side mission for the side mission.
It's a little bit of a downer for sure after those two back-to-back episodes, right? But yeah.
I feel like this is kind of a two-parter too, where by the end of the next episode, we kind of get to a sort of a point of it all. But I'll talk about that once we do the next episode, which I guess we might as well do now, eh?
Yeah, we can get right into it. sorry to be the downer there, but
segue.
Yeah. Not much to talk about that episode. There's nothing like overlaying, like nothing underlining, nothing. It's just straight up character building episode.
Yeah, it's just a character building episode leading into the next episode, pretty much.
Yeah.
So episode 10, Retrieval, aired February 22nd. The Marauder is taken by his thief, a young boy named Benny Barrow. His owner, Mako,
I think it's Mako.
Mako, right. I was like, I'm not saying that right. But anyways, yeah, Mako, who prepares to ship the ship for parts to sell. Omega devises a way to track the Marauder by tracking Gonki. The Bad Batch infiltrate Mako's mining base and coerce Benny into guiding them. Benny, hoping to gain Mako's favor, betrays the Bad Batch's presence, but just before being captured, Omega discovers that Mako has been exploiting his workers for his own profit. With this revelation, Benny turns his comrades against Mako, who falls to his death, and Bad Batch restore their ship and leave the planet. We got guest voices here, Yuri Lowenthal as Benny Barrow, and Miner Number 1. Alex Lee as Drake and Miner Number 2. Jonathan Lipow as Mako. Mako. And directed by Stuart Lee and Moises Zamora. So what I was saying about kind of it all comes together at the end of this episode is when Omega is kind of talking about how, out there in the universe, there's all kinds of villains like this. It's not just the Empire. And that's kind of where you get a sense of like, okay, this might be their mission, is to like, try to help people in different situations that are struggling with things not necessarily to do with the Empire. So
Sort of like the A team of space.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
um,
No, go ahead. You go ahead first.
Yeah, no, it was a better episode than the one before, obviously. Um, but I found did you guys find that Mako he kind of looked like what's his face from the Goonies there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Oh, what is his name?
Sloth, or is it
Sloth.
Sloth?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Sloth. Yeah, you're right.
It's just-
Yeah, he did kind of have that look. Yeah, yeah.
and it was disgusting.
That's
Eating.
funny.
Did you see him eat? Oh my gosh, he was just
Yeah.
like holy crap, like but I don't know, like it was a decent episode, yeah, for sure.
Well,
I
I
lost
think
my
it,
train of thought. I'm lost. You go, Elder. I lost my train of thought.
well, I think going off of that, it served its purpose. I mean, it worked towards getting them their ship back. They helped somebody in the galaxy, so to speak. Um, I do feel like this is one of those stories that we've seen a few too many times, though. Like where there's always the people that are going to the one guy who's got everything but has you thinking you got to work hard to get to that level, but nobody ever gets to that level because he's usually using everything for himself.
Well, it's basically like it's a slave sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's still giving them stuff, but he's controlling most of it. So it's the slave card has been, or the slave trader or the slave runner or whatever. It's been played quite a bit for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things where like it's sort of the humanity of it, like where the person is given an opportunity to take advantage of people and then they take advantage.
Yep.
So
But along the way, I do think it helped again with more of the development of the characters of the Bad Batch. But yeah, again, coming off of those 3 episodes, we're just waiting for the next big story to happen, and it's just something happening in between. But definitely more going on here than the episode before. A little bit better. Still not my favorite, but yeah.
yeah, like I said, I think it kind of just pulls the previous episode and kind of gives it a conclusion and sort of a purpose. Makes you realize that the previous episode wasn't just another random side quest. It was kind of a little bit more purposeful, a little bit, because you get that character development between Tech and Omega, and then you get kind of the realization at the end that like, maybe this is something we want to do, is try to help out, random oppressed people in the galaxy. Kind of pushes their way of thinking in a little bit of a different direction.
Yeah, and I mean, like these episodes were linked together. Obviously, like it wasn't a cliffhanger. It wasn't the end of a story to go to another one. Like, it wasn't good enough to have it on the same night because obviously it wasn't as good as that. The double night or the double episode night, but it was it was decent. It was good. It was decent. I don't know. Let's move on. Next one. I don't have much to say about it. I don't know, for some reason.
Yeah, me neither.
It's not.
Who wants? Is it my turn to read this one?
I think it's your turn, yeah.
Okay, so we're going into episode 11, which was Metamorphosis, which aired this past Wednesday on March 1st. And it was directed by Saul Ruiz, written by Sabir Perzada. And okay, let's see. Dr. Royce Hemlock travels to an Imperial facility on Mount Tantus to meet Nala Se. He tries to persuade her into taking part in the Emperor's cloning projects. Which, by the way, before I read any more of this, if you haven't watched this week's episode, you might want to step away for a few minutes while I'm doing this.
Yeah,
there's,
definitely
uh,
spoiler
I-
alert, guys. This is definitely a very much spoiler show. So if you haven't watched Bad Batch or Mandalorian season 3, yes, spoiler alert.
Yeah, but I mean, older stuff, I mean, the time has come, but this is still pretty new, so I almost feel like I'm kind of. I feel like I needed to say that quick.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, one thing too, like I realized this during Mandalorian season 2 when I was talking about on stream, is that some people don't have the same release dates as we do in their country. So I
Right.
thought we were already like kind of in the clear. It was a month after it aired, and I was talking about, it, and somebody's like, "Hey, it hasn't even aired in my country yet," and I was like, "Oh, my bad."
Yeah.
So there's that.
We should have a heavy spoilers thing underneath
Yeah,
our
maybe
video,
we
our
should
cameras.
have like a spoiler alert that's always on screen or something. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Something else.
Or even in
Something
the
to add
title,
to
maybe.
something to add to the list
Yeah.
of things we need to
For
work
next
on.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so he tries to persuade her into taking part in the Emperor's cloning projects, but she refuses. Meanwhile, a covert transport bound for Mount Tantus ends up stranded, and Sid assigns the Bad Batch to recover its cargo. While exploring the wreck, they discover that the cargo is an immature Zillo beast secretly cloned away from Kamino to serve as a lemming armament resource. An Imperial strike force is sent to recover the beast and capture all nearby witnesses, forcing the Bad Batch to retreat. Shortly after, Lama Su is brought to Mount Tantus to persuade Nala Se to cooperate. He divulges Omega's existence to Dr. Hemlock in return for his freedom. And let's see, guest voices we had for this: D. Bradley Baker again as Bad Batch and Scorch, Rhea Perlman again as Sid, Jimmy Simpson as Dr. Royce Hemlock. We had Helen Sadler as Dr. Scalder, Bob Bergen as a droid and Lama Su, Keisha Castle Hughes as Emery Carr, and Gwendolyn Yeo as Nala Se. I'm going to say this kind of brought me back on par with this series. Whereas I had a couple weeks where I was just kind of like, we're watching. This brought me right back. I mean, number one, you had the Zillo Beast, which leans back to the Clone Wars. It was exciting to see that wasn't part of the story that they picked up on again. Obviously, going back to Mount Tantus, seeing Nala Se, Lama Su, getting to see who the new guy is on the block. Now that Rampart is gone with Dr. Hemlock, and seeing what kind of guy this guy's going to be, which doesn't look very good. And then, yeah, just a lot going on. A lot of good story building for what's going to happen down the line here towards the end of the season. I thought this was just an excellently done episode.
Yep, I agree. I don't necessarily think that Dr. Hemlock has taken over Rampart's position. I think they're still gonna find somebody else for that. But I think in the whole cloning thing, obviously, yeah, he's gonna be. I thought they were gonna show Dr. Pershing from Mandalorian, like because you saw the back of his head, and I was
Yeah.
is that the Doctor from the Mandalorian? And I was like, nope, it's not.
Yeah.
But obviously he's a part of it, yeah. So this is a new character that they introduced in the show. But yeah, it was cool. Seeing Mount Tantus was neat again, because we saw it. Didn't we see it in?
It was the last episode of last season.
Right, yeah.
And I want to say I want to say there was one other time this season that we saw it too. Can't think of what it was.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Looking it up.
Oh yeah. But so for like when I saw that immature Xylo Beast, So the first of that episode, to me, like seeing the commando clone or clone commando, which was really cool to see.
Mhm.
But it had that sort of like horror feel, you know, like it felt very alien-ish, like the movie Alien,
Oh
where
yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. I kind of felt that vibe
it
too in
right. And
that
then when you see the
episode. Yeah,
Xylo Beast, you're like, man, that looks sort of like an alien, like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, obviously
yeah.
it is an alien, but like
But from the
the
show or
from the
the
movie,
movie,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it was so cool. Like, um, but yeah, it was neat to see it like grow. And I know we saw it grow in the Clone Wars too, or whatever. I think it was in the Clone Wars, right? Yeah,
Yeah, it was.
that
Yeah.
we saw that. But it was pretty cool. Um, and then yeah, to see the like Nala Se and Lama Su again. Obviously, they're a big part of, you know, what happened with a lot of Palpatine's cloning projects. I mean, even though Nala Se is not cooperating right now, it seems like eventually she will, like, or somehow she will, or maybe they go ahead without her expertise, and that's why there's all these fails of the cloning stuff. I don't know, like all that stuff, but
Well, I think that's what was so important about the end of this episode was when Lama Su was there and he's saying there's one little clone girl that you bring her and she'll start to do the things
start
you
to work.
want her to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think that kind of in response to what Megamind was talking in the chat there about is I'm starting to get the feeling that maybe Omega was specifically made to be a helper for the cloning process because she does seem to, know the ins and outs of the equipment and how to work with it and stuff like that. And she is so different from all the other clones, obviously.
Yeah.
yeah, but I think we're also going to find out her true purpose. Um,
Hmm.
whether it be whether it be that she was meant to be force sensitive, or their attempt at finding a clone that could be force sensitive, or just trying whatever they decide they wanted her to be. Um, That'd be interesting to see where they go.
Well, I mean, there was kind of like, you know, when back in the episode with Gunji there, like she was like trying to meditate with the tree. And then the next episode, like the first scene in that episode, she's like in her little cabin and she's trying to meditate like a Jedi, you know what I mean? So like, I don't know, like
Yeah, and also
maybe she's starting to feel things.
with the bow, like how they kind of went towards bow instead of blaster for her, kind of makes it feel like they're trying to show that she's very skilled. Like she picked that up really quickly and was quite adept at it within, I don't know, a few episodes of season one there. So yeah, she could be force sensitive or at least partially.
I mean, that could just be the Jango Fett in her too. So
That's true.
So
That's
yeah.
true. Weapon master. Yeah.
but
I wonder if she could be part of the Grogu blood experiments from the Empire.
Okay.
Or no, I guess that would be after, right? Never mind.
well, I mean, you're in the right time period, so it could have been the preliminary stages of something that they were building to. Um, who knows what they were thinking at that point.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, we do know also. Um, I think it's in Rebels when the Inquisitors are gathering up all those Force-sensitive babies and stuff. So that's a kind of a recurring theme for Palpatine there, trying to gather up the Force-sensitive, try to control the outcome of the Force balance and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be too surprised.
Yep.
That wouldn't surprise me either. But I don't know. Like so overall, this was a great episode. It did exactly what it needed to do. It built the story. It got me excited for what we're going to see in the future. Um, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So actually, it's not bad. We covered the episodes pretty good here.
Yeah, it only took us like what, an hour?
An hour. Wow.
Nice. Well,
Wow.
well done, guys.
Well, it helped that some of those episodes were like blah blah blah. Okay, we're
Filler.
done.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that being said, we also had the Mandalorian that started this past week. So um,
Are we excited, man? Like, I'm excited for this season for sure.
Oh,
Like,
I
stoked.
yeah, same. I was just I was excited for it to start. I was excited for the idea, like I said, that we're gonna have a good month of. I'm not just. I have more than one thing to look forward to on Wednesday mornings. It's just a lot of fun that way. Um, and yeah, I'm stoked for what they're gonna bring us.
okay, so once again, guys, this is a spoiler. We're going to be talking about the first episode of Mandalorian. So you have not watched it. Please don't blame us.
Yeah.
We're
It's not
letting you
our
know.
fault.
We're letting you know right now. Okay.
All right, so who wants to get into this one?
I guess it's my turn. I guess, right?
Okay.
So, all right, I'll do it. All right, episode 1, chapter 17, The Apostate, directed by Rick Famuyiwa. And Jon Favreau is the writer of the show. Aired March 1st, which was this past Wednesday. The Armorer and group of Mandalorians hold a ceremony to induct a young child into the tribe. The ceremony is interrupted when a dinosaur turtle attacks the Mandalorians. They fight back, but are soon overpowered. Din Djarin arrives, killing the creature with his starfighter and revealing that Grogu has chosen to stay with him. The Armorer confirms that if the mines of Mandalore still exist, Djarin may become a Mandalorian once more. Djarin travels to Navarro to meet Greef Karga, who is now the High Magistrate. Djarin helps Karga stop a group of pirates led by Vane, who have been attacking citizens and schools on Navarro. Karga offers Djarin the newly vacated position of Marshal, but Djarin refuses, stating that he came to rebuild IG-11. Djarin successfully revives IG-11, but the droid defaults to his original violent programming, which, by the way, was really cool to watch that,
Yeah,
because they did that in stop motion. That's what how they did that, right? It was really neat. Djarin brings his parts to a group of Anzalin. I'm pronouncing it wrong. Anybody else? Anzalin?
Enzelin,
I
I
don't know
believe it
the
is. Yeah.
pronunciation.
Anzalin mechanics. Babu Frick, by the way.
Babu
It's not.
Fricks. Yeah.
I don't think he's there, but Babu Frick, the race, who tell him that they need a new memory core to fully repair the droid. As Djarin leaves Navarro, the pirate crew, led by Vane's superior Gorian Shard, attacks his ship, but he destroys several of their fighters and escapes. Djarin meets with Bo-Katan in an old Mandalorian castle, who reveals that after losing the Darksaber, she has abandoned her plans to reclaim Mandalore and suggests that Djarin should travel there alone. Taking a hissy fit.
Yeah.
So what did
Now
we
we
think,
understand
guys?
why her like, yeah, now like, yeah, I think now she's like kind of come full circle. Like at some point she was like super strong and like, very inspired and wanted to, lead Mandalore and all that kind of stuff. And you're
Yeah.
just seeing her like, progressively that hope is depleted.
Well, I mean, like last season when she came on, it was last season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was like, on to Mandalore. We're going to Mandalore, blah, blah, blah. In this episode, she's like, do it yourself. I'm done. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, and they put in all that work stealing that fleet from the Empire,
Yeah,
the
right.
whatever the Empire, and then he's like, "What about the fleet?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's gone. They took it. They're doing whatever."
They're
Oh, okay.
they're mercenaries now, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, but yeah, I'm actually surprised they call it a dinosaur turtle because I just rewatched the episode again right before the podcast here, and it looks exactly like an alligator. Like it's just a huge alligator
In the
or
drawings at
crocodile.
the
Sorry.
end, though, it is a tortoise. It looks like a tortoise or a
Oh,
snapping
okay.
turtle or something. So I don't know if they just said dinosaur turtle and just didn't change it, or I don't know.
Yeah, the
But
face does look a little more snapping turtle-like, but like it swings the tail, and it's like pretty clearly a crocodile
it's
tail.
definitely a crocodile with a shell. That's what it is.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. And like
I
crocodiles
mean,
kind of do have a shell anyways. Like if you've ever seen a lion try to fight or a pack of lions trying to fight a crocodile, they cannot penetrate its skin. So yeah, they're jumping on it trying to rip it and it doesn't do anything.
Yep.
So they're kind of, I don't know. To me it looked like a crocodile, but
I mean,
I guess dinosaur turtle.
you say crocodile, I say turtle, potato, potato.
Yeah. Yeah. Some dinosaur.
the key word is dinosaur. Yeah.
Yeah, true. True. It's definitely a little big for a crocodile or a turtle.
Some sort of space reptile. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, so what else, guys? What do we?
So I guess we'll
So yeah, I
start.
don't know. I'm trying to look up to see the pronunciation of the Anzelin or whatever
I
it
believe it's
is, but that's my first
Anzelin.
time seeing the word, so
I believe
I
it's
don't see
Anzelin.
any
Anzelin.
Yeah.
Anzelin.
Yeah, I think it's Anzelin too. It sounds about right.
Yeah, that part to me was the most exciting. I really love Babu Frick, but just to see others of that race, it was so exciting. And honestly, I want to rewatch that scene again and see if I can try to pick up on the nuances of what they're saying, because you can tell it's like it's kind of English, but it's not. It's like a little broken English, you know?
There was one word in there. It's like, you know how they, what is it? They said poo poo, and it's like it's supposed to be like bantha fodder. You know how they say
Oh
bantha
yeah,
fodder,
yeah,
but it's like
yeah,
poo poo. So funny. It was just funny how like Grief was like repeating what they were saying, but you could clearly hear what they were saying. He's like, I got it.
yeah.
I
Well-
got it.
Well, I think the funny part of the whole thing was in the beginning when they're talking to him, you can make out what they're saying, and right away Dan is sitting there like, "Wait, do you speak Chinese?" And so it's like, "Wait, I understood that."
I
Yeah.
thought it was also funny where he was sitting in their workshop, sort of like, you know how I think somebody had referenced it to Lord of the Rings, where Gandalf is sitting in a hobbit house.
Yeah.
So, you know.
It's true. Yeah. But yeah, also we found out Grief is pretty nimble for an old man. The way he was bending down to talk to them at that doorway, I was like, man, this is a flexible dude right here.
Hey, all that training as Apollo Creed really paid off.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that was a really good scene. I liked it. I laughed pretty hard.
There was a
So
lot of good stuff. There's a lot of good stuff in this episode. Like it wasn't crazy like over the top, but like there was a bunch of stuff, man.
I mean, if I had to start with the bad stuff, the one bad thing I hated about this episode, damn it, Favreau, why do you have to make these episodes so damn short?
Yeah.
It was 35 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely left me wanting more for sure.
But after that, it's like there was nothing I could say bad about this episode, period. It's like I loved every minute of it.
Yeah.
Everything was played right, everything was timed right, nothing felt like it went on for too long. It just, I mean, my favorite part was still the part where Grogu's in there and he starts to squeeze the Anzellian.
Oh yeah. Like he's not a pet.
It's just funny. It's like puppet on puppet, like puppet on
Yeah.
puppet, like right. Apparently,
Yeah.
I had heard today that was one. They had to make one full puppet. It wasn't like two
Oh, yeah.
puppets. They had to make the puppet together, like whatever it was. So
Yeah, kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Kind of makes sense.
But yeah, I mean, everything was just done so well. Like I said, I mean, I in the very beginning, just the whole getting to see the ritual of how a Mandalorian gets their mask to begin with. That was I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, they went there. This is amazing.
That confused me in the beginning though, because I thought that was young. For some reason, I thought that was young Din Djarin.
Yeah, I think they kind of tried to make it feel that way, and then when they kind of play the little clip of the theme song as Mando swoops in with his ship, I was like, "Oh, this is not a flashback. All right." And
I'm
like,
pretty
and like the entrance of that ship was pretty fantastic
epic.
too.
Yeah, yeah,
I love the ship, and then
yeah,
also
man.
too when Grogu pokes his head up in the little bubble there, that was pretty.
Yeah,
It was funny. I put a smile on my face.
I'm pretty
But
sure.
yeah, the crafting itself, I thought was super interesting because I feel like it kind of played to real life. Like honestly, I don't think that's the way it would be crafted if it was like a metalsmith in our world. But like just to see how they laid it out, like she drops the Beskar and then it goes flat, and then she like starts molding it into the helmet and everything. I thought that was really cool how they kind of gave us a glimpse into the fabrication itself. That was
yeah.
pretty cool.
I just love that we're starting to really get into the lore of how the Mandalorians work, and I think as we go through the season, we're going to see a lot more of it, and I'm on board with that. But even oh man, that was great. I thought the interaction between Din Djarin and Bo-Katan couldn't have been done any better. I mean, you could see the spite in her face. You could see the anger. You could almost see the the kind of plotting going along with it as well. Like he's when he says, "I'm going to Mandalore," she's like, "Go ahead." And then as he turns and walks away, she's like, "Goodbye." Like I know you're going to die there. Almost like maybe I should go follow you so I could take the dark saber and I could rule again.
Yeah.
So you could almost it's like you could almost see like the potential plot lines that are building off of it.
Yeah, I think that scene was very well acted. Another scene that was like that too was when the armor was talking to Mando, and she was so like that's the first time we've seen her kind of emotional. She was like, "You gave up, get out of my sight." Like, she's
Yeah.
very much dismissing him, and he's, trying his best to earn his way back into her good regards and stuff like that. I thought that was a pretty cool scene as well. Very well acted in both of those scenes.
Oh, she was basically reiterating what she had already said. You
Yeah.
have removed your helmet, then you're no longer a Mandalorian. Like, like you can kind of hear the sass a little bit, just a tiny bit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that
You're
almost,
not a
She's like,
Mandalorian anymore, right?
that almost. Why are you here?
yeah, we've been here. We've done this. What are
We've
you
done
doing
this
here?
already. Yeah, yeah. Take off your helmet so you can hear better.
But yeah,
uh,
I thought that scene was kind of cool too because yeah, we kind of see a little bit more of a human side of the armor as well. Like before, pretty much she's only talking about the creed, but then there she's more like I'm done with you. Like it's not just that you're not a Mandalorian. I don't want to do this anymore, kind of thing. That's how it feels anyway. It's a little more personal.
yeah, for sure. Like when she asked him, she's like, "You still got the dark saber?" Or we're talking about I'm talking about Bo-Katan
Oh,
now.
the
My bad.
Bo-Katan. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
sorry. So I read Horizon's thing about BK being a little more aggressive, so I kind of reverted back to it. But like the whole like she's like, "You still got the dark saber?" He's like, "Yeah." Well, you go lead them then. Like, you go lead them. You go do whatever. Like, but I kind of agree with Horizon. Like, it'd be cool to see them two duel it out. Like, duel have a battle. See if she can win the dark saber back.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be surprising if we don't see some degree of that down the road.
As I
Like
say,
it just feels like it has to happen.
I have a feeling it's going to happen, and we're just starting to watch the beginning of the setup for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
What else? What else? Um,
um,
the
I don't know if this
Go-
is necessarily so much episode related, but one of the things that I did notice because they were talking to Filoni and Favreau this week, and a lot of us have looked at just going back to a few things, but like how a lot of us are. There are a lot of people that were upset that Grogu is back with the Mandalorian so quickly.
Yep.
Not so much time has passed, but when we started talking to, when they talked to Favreau, they were saying, like in that time between, the end of Mandalorian season 2 and when Boba Fett picked up, um, they said actually 2 years had passed in that time. When we looked at it, it looked like maybe a month or two had passed, if anything.
yeah.
So it kind of changed my thought process a little bit on a lot of this. It was like, okay, so if that's the case, then number one, here we are, and Grogu might have a little more skill than we know about.
Right. Yep.
I know they show the one trailer where they show him use the force push, where it's like, what other kind of fun little tricks are we going to start to see? Plus that means he's a couple years older. Is he gonna start talking soon? And it's like, I'm kind of wondering now, what else are we gonna get this season? It seems like there's more stuff coming. Not to mention, he also mentioned that season 4 is already written and ready to go.
Yeah.
So
that's intense, man. Right? Like insane.
So it's like,
Yeah, one thing I noticed there with the development of Grogu is when he's talking about he's telling Grogu about the instruments on the ship and stuff when they're about to get attacked by the pirates, when they're leaving Navarro. He's like, it's not just about fighting. Also, you have to learn to navigate the galaxy and stuff like that. I'm like, wait, you taught him how to fight already? When did this happen?
Yeah.
So there is some more, you know, if there is that amount of time in between, maybe he has done a little fighting training with him and stuff. So it'd be cool to see Grogu in some combat situations.
But I mean, like, if you also look at like the town of Navarro, like the from where it was in season 2, even at that, go back season 1, like season 1, it was a friggin', it was like almost like a lava land almost. Like it was just totally decimated almost. Like it was just little tiny like markets and like, you know, things falling apart. And then
Yeah,
you come back
kind
to
of
season
ghost
3.
town to some degree.
Yeah, season 3 now, it looks like it's been like totally revamped. Like it looks like a,
Yeah.
you know, nice thriving city now. Like
Yeah,
so you definitely can
flourishing.
tell that there's time between for sure. Like
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, also that scene where he does fight those pirates in the ships, I thought that was a super awesome
that was
scene.
a
I really
good
like
scene. Yep.
battles, and that really hit the spot, so to speak. It was deadly.
And then to finish it up there at the end, well, he came up to that pirate ship, and lo and behold, there's Davy Jones, but he just looks like he's got seaweed hanging from his face.
yeah.
Yeah, I was like, why is Davy Jones in this?
What the heck, man? So obviously, we should probably see him again.
Also, that ship, the Davy Jones's ship, that was pretty cool. Capital ship. There.
Are we calling him Davy Jones now?
Might as
guess
well.
so.
That's what he looks like.
Gorian Shard is his name.
Okay, Gorian Shard.
Anyways,
All
yeah, Davy Jones. But yeah, people were saying that it kind of resembled a ship from one of the movies there, the Hammerhead ship or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, it kind of does. Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, another thing I want to bring up is so there's the scene where they're flying through hyperspace,
And they're having a nap together.
and no, not that one.
Oh,
that's after. They do have a nap,
Okay.
yeah. But where Grogu's like looking out the window into hyperspace, and then he sees the Purgil.
Yeah.
Floating, the Purgil flying.
Oh yeah.
So that's a reference, obviously, to Rebels,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Brought the Purgil in. Obviously, they're setting stuff up, possibly because I mean the Ahsoka show's starting soon, right? So,
Yeah,
so there's a little bit of that going on. It was really cool to see that. It was neat, and it looked like he was trying to like connect with them possibly as they were flying, see what was going on. But then he was like, "No, I don't want to." So he went back down, and then that's when the nap happened.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
But it was really cool. It was really cool to see them.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I just wonder like they brought it into live action. So like I'm wondering if that's what we'll see in Ahsoka too, right? When they finally bring in Ezra, like are they going to be around him or with them or I don't know, like
Yeah, I'm really curious with the Ahsoka show if they're gonna go into that oh shoot, I can't remember what they call it, but the like space between time or whatever with
Oh,
the owl and
the
the
World Between
gates and
Worlds.
stuff. World Between Worlds, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm really curious to see if we'll see some sort of live action version of that in the Ahsoka show. Or even just the owl, something like that, that would be that's something that would be pretty cool to me.
A good Easter egg, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Or
would,
even just a flashback of that happening, that Vader duel, like live action, that'd be very cool.
I mean, if nothing else, I would like to see the owl again, just because it's kind of always followed Ahsoka around no matter what. It's like even at the end of Clone Wars, when Vader picks up her lightsaber right at the end. There's the owl is flying above, and even Vader notices it as he was walking away. So, I mean, somewhere along that, I believe that's how Vader knew she was still alive, despite the fact that here's her lightsaber and she should be dead and gone. But it's just kind of because that it always followed her. So it would be kind of cool if it still followed her to this day.
Yeah. Yeah, and to see any of this stuff that is purely in cartoon form as we know it now turned into live action, I get a kick out of that kind of stuff too, for sure. Like Thrawn, I can't wait to see what Thrawn
Oh,
looks like. That's gonna be
where I
amazing.
think everybody's on the same page, man. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait
Yeah.
who they see, like who they casting. You know how they gonna make it. Like how is he gonna how is he gonna look? How is he gonna talk? Like I can't wait.
It's like I'm really excited for this overall story.
One thing I must say though is I hope he looks better than Grand Inquisitor and Cad Bane.
Uh,
I don't know. To me, they missed the mark a little bit on those two, but I'm
I,
still happy to see them. Just the look didn't quite hit the mark for me.
I mean, I don't see them having to go to CGI to make it work. So
That's true.
ideally,
That's true.
ideally they should be able to pull this off really well. That being said, I've seen really bad stuff happen with some characters along the way from other shows, but I mean, I personally didn't mind Cat Bane. I don't know. I thought people were overreacting on the Cat Bane thing. Um, but I will say Grand Inquisitor, yeah, definitely looked off. Um, I thought Tarkin looked off in Rogue One, but yeah, I thought they actually did a good job with Cat Bane. I was kind of
Yeah, I
surprised.
think Cad Bane's a little bit less off than the Grand Inquisitor. Like, I think they did a fairly good job with Cad Bane. Just something about it felt more like small to me than like to me he's such a big character, and like the way he looked, he kind of just seemed like a I don't know, like a cartoon, not a cartoon, I don't know, looked like uh, a fictional character rather than being this like larger than life super badass cowboy dude.
I think some of that was in the writing, but I'm not going to put it all to that
Yeah.
because there were moments where I think the moment when he was in the small town with Cobb Vanth and the deputy
Yeah.
there, I thought that was done beautifully.
Yeah, that scene was pretty awesome for sure.
um, but yeah, I mean, like,
But yeah, with Grand Inquisitor, like anytime we've seen him in cartoon form, he's like super skinny to the point of being like almost skeletal, like emaciated. And then we have this very large, pudgy face with the live action version. So to me, that was like, uh,
He looked like a Teletubby.
yeah.
He was the sixth Teletubby.
Yeah.
And there it is, folks.
Pumpkinhead, yeah, Teletubby.
Oh, yeah, you know what I mean, right? Like in the cartoons, like his cheeks are like
he was
sunken
very
in.
slim.
So
Yeah,
skinny.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
very like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So, anyways.
But another thing I wanted to bring up was the fact that they talked about Cara Dune for like 2 seconds, and they kind of wrote her story. Seemingly, they're gonna keep her in the universe. Obviously, there's characters in the universe all the time, all around the stories or whatnot. Blah blah blah. But I think it was a good choice to kind of tell the audience that she's still here, she's still in the universe, but she's not in the show anymore, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys think like what's her face is like, I know
Gina
she was
Carano.
fired. Yeah, like she was fired. Like, do we think that she could be coming back down in the future? Like, is it done? Like, what do we think that's, or is that's it? That's the last time they're going to talk about her, and that's it. Like,
I'll put it this way. I'll say highly unlikely, but I'll never say never.
right?
Yeah, I haven't really heard like what she thinks about the whole situation. Like I haven't really looked into that kind of stuff because I think that would play a huge factor. Like even if they wanted her back, she might be like, no.
Yeah, it was a whole big hassle. I don't want to come back. Like,
Yeah, like I don't want to be scrutinized in that same way or whatever the case may be. But I don't know if that's how she feels. Maybe she would relish the opportunity to come back. I'm not sure.
I don't think I don't think they would recast. There's no way, because you already know that it's Gina Carano. You can't really like recast. She doesn't have a helmet, so like maybe they do
Yeah.
bring in a helmet, like
Yeah,
and then
they could
recast her.
maybe have like a scene where they have her CG, something happens to her face, and then she wears a mask or a helmet.
Right?
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
It wouldn't be that
yeah.
hard to do, really.
It wouldn't be far fetched for sure
Yeah.
to do that if they wanted to bring her back in. But I mean, I think that story is sailed, and they're like, this is where she went, just to address it to the audience, and then that's it. They're gonna done. That was their solution.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna do it, just leave it at that and leave it alone. I like I said, I don't see the situation where they ever bring her back, but I wouldn't want to see anybody else do the role either. So I kind of think I would just leave it at that and bring me a new character if you're gonna do something.
Yeah, I would love to see her come back if that was a thing. She was an awesome character. And
Yeah,
I think she acted it really well.
She did a good job, I thought. Like, yeah, for sure.
yeah. Don't get me wrong. If the situation came where it was like, we would love you to come back, and she's like, yeah, I'll do it. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, bring her back and bring the character back, and let's carry on from where we were. But if you're not going to bring her back, don't do it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The way that they ended it there. If they're not going to bring her back, the way that they ended it there and told the story and that was done, perfect. Leave it like that. She's still in the universe, but we don't have to see her again.
I mean, if you're going to go there, oh.
Go where? What?
No, I kind of had that thing,
right.
that whole thing where I thought I kind of lost the podcast again.
Oh.
But yeah, like I said, I mean, I just couldn't even imagine who to put in that spot. So just
right. Was there anything else about the episode that stuck out? I mean, to me, again, like I like prop stuff. Like I would prefer prop work over CG because it just looks, it brings you back to the original Star Wars and stuff like that. So the whole that whole IG-11 scene was it was funny. It was cool. It reminded me of the Terminator. You know, the Terminator 1 there,
Oh yeah, yeah.
where he's like in the plant and he's dragging his carcass, like half beaten down carcass all over the place. So that's kind of what it looked. It kind of reminded me of, right? But the practicality, like the stop motion, was super neat. Like just to kind of like it kind of remind you of like the Rancor or like the AT-AT walkers or whatever it was, right? It's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I
it's
liked it.
utterly well done.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I liked how they had the he's like, yeah, we need to bring back IG. That's the only
The statue.
droid that I trust. He's like, but that's our statue. We
That's our
love it. He's
statue.
like, I don't care. Let's do it. Give me my friend back.
And then the next scene, the torso and the head's gone, but the arm is still there with the legs.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Hey guys, gotta step away for a second, so just carry on.
sure, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
It was funny. Like when you see the statue, like if you look close, he's like standing. I think he's standing on a stormtrooper helmet. I think on top,
Okay,
whatever it was.
okay.
Like, but it was pretty. It was yeah, like he's doing the Captain Morgan, like the
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
I want
like
that
the
droid.
statue.
You
Yeah.
want to put him back together? Yeah, I want him. He's the only one I trust.
He's like, we have so many droids. I don't want
I can
them.
build you one. I don't want any other droids. I want this one.
Yeah.
Do you say no to Mando? No, not really.
No. Especially Grief, because their history, of course, how he's, he's double crossed him, so he kind of has one up on him, and then, he helped him get his position where he is, so that, he definitely owes Mando everything.
Right, but did you see it like in that scene where he was trying to convince him to stay? Like where he was like, "Oh, you can hang up your blaster and you and the little one can have a place out there, whatever it was." And then you find out really like later on what his real plan was to have him be marshal of the town and blah blah
marshal,
blah.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's still like the little bit of scheming in there, like part of him,
Yeah, for sure.
See you later, Horizon. Thanks for hanging, buddy.
Yeah, have a good one, Horizon.
But yeah, there was another that scene where the pirates were at the school and they thought it was a bar and then they're talking back and forth and the whole camera angle where like it goes down to the side like the west like a sort of a western like showdown or whatever.
Yeah.
And like I can still wield the whatever or whatever he did anyways.
Yeah.
They kind of
that was pretty awesome.
They kind of I think I was watching something that kind of resembled a scene where Han Solo walked into the spaceport and Jabba was there and like the camera angles down by his hand was like down by his blaster or whatever it was, like sort of Western feel again. So I don't know. It was cool. That episode had a lot of Easter eggs. It was really cool. Like,
yeah, I love how Mandalorian kind of brings us to that sort of spaghetti Western style feel in general, and I feel like that scene really did that. Kind of brought it back to that feel of that style of movie or show.
You definitely can tell though there was lots more money I think in this because to me like when they're walking into Navarro, okay, like if you remember like them walking to Navarro in the other seasons, like it was like dim, it was grim, it was whatever, but you're walking into this and it felt like I don't know if anybody's been to Galaxy's Edge, but it's sort of felt like an amusement park. You're walking through like. It's just characters walking through an
there's just
amusement
so much
park
going on everywhere.
You know what I mean? Like and like there's flowers and there's market things like booming and like there's people being happy and you know what I mean? Like it felt kind of weird, like to me anyways. I don't know.
Yeah, it does seem like there's a lot more like you said, a lot more money into it. Even that crocodile turtle dinosaur, I think that was like very much a big screen blockbuster effect on that. Like it looked really
That
good.
was probably expensive, man. Like
yeah.
But
yeah, and even just the sound around it, like you could hear it stepping, like boom, like you get this feeling that this is a huge, massive beast, and yeah, really, really well done. I like that.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely can tell it. The Mandalorian show is their like prize jewel of Disney. Like it's their baby. Like it's the thing that started off Disney, and like that's probably the show that's getting the most money out of anything in that Disney Plus sort of streaming thing, or out of any
Yeah,
shows that are coming to Disney.
yeah, for sure. Even just merch, like Grogu stuff. Oh man,
Sorry, guys.
huge, so huge.
Hi Eldor,
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, welcome back.
welcome back. Yeah.
Thank you.
We're just talking about the how the show looks very expensive now, like even more so from the first two seasons. Like it's a lot of money being put into this.
Absolutely, and it's. But I think that's kind of natural progression of it, also, if you think about it, because when the series started, like you were saying, Navarro, perfect example. It was basically like basically a dirt road with a couple of small saloons, and that was the best you were gonna get there. And as time has gone on, you've watched Apollo Creed Karga there. build up Navarro into this wonderful city. Well, as you start building it up and making it look nicer, there's some CGI that has to go there, so it kind of makes sense. Same thing with the ships. I mean, unfortunately, I really did like the Razor Crest. It was a great looking ship, but don't get me wrong, I love the new Naboo Starfighter also. So I mean, I thought they did that as great as well. But again, as you've moved on, I mean, now we're starting to get space battles. Obviously, that's gonna cost a little bit more, also. So then you started bringing in the dark saber episodes of that. Now there's time you got to put in for potential lightsaber type work. So I see where the money starts to add up after time. Yeah. But I can also see where this show is probably bringing them in money to the point where they're getting there. So it's I can see where it's coming from.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're saying like the Mandalorian is their prize jewel, right? So this show is their baby. So I think everything's going to Mandalorian, and so you can definitely tell. But I mean, at the end of the day, it still is Disney for sure. Disney's got the money to put towards this stuff.
No, definitely, and I mean, yeah. Keep in mind, I mean, they spent what $4 billion on this franchise, and I believe they said if they wanted to sell it today, they could probably get 10 for it. So I mean, it's making its money. I think Mandalorian is probably easily the best stuff that Disney has put out Star Wars wise. Though I am curious to see what they're going to do for movies going in the future, but that's another episode.
Yeah, that's the next step, right? Like
yeah,
movies will be see what they're going to do with what's coming out for movies. Like, because I mean, there's still talk about who's going to be doing the next one, or what director is going to be doing this, and what writer is going to be doing that, and like it's there's nothing 100% set in stone with Disney. Well, as far as I
Well, the cool side of that is I believe we're going to be discussing that quite a bit over the next couple of weeks. Because I mean, you have Celebration coming up. We know for sure that there is going to at least be one movie announced, if not more. So, I mean, that I'm looking forward to by far.
And we should be getting the Ahsoka trailer as well during Celebration. I would figure.
Absolutely. I would be surprised if we didn't. At least like
me too.
At least like a short teaser.
Yeah, even a teaser. Like whatever. Like and like drop a teaser, or maybe drop a teaser before Celebration and then have the trailer play at Celebration,
Oh no, they're definitely gonna do that. So it's gonna all happen at Celebration during.
It's all happening, man. Can't wait. I can't wait for I'm booking that. I booked the like I said this last time, I guess, or last year, whatever. Like I
You do it
watch
up
it, right?
late.
I love Celebration. I love watching it. Like I spend as much time watching it live. I know, Elder, you go back and watch the the YouTube channel later on after whatever it is, but I love it live. Like
Yeah,
so,
if I'm able to watch it live, I'll watch it live. If I can't watch it live, I'll sit there for 7 hours later on in the day and catch up on everything.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's got different time, but I mean, I'm taking time off from work. Like I'm taking the day off. Like where the start of it, I think it starts on a Thursday, I believe. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. One of the two, whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure when Celebration is
I
happening.
think it's the 7th to the 10th, I believe. But anyways, can't wait.
Yeah, that would be an off weekend for me. So yeah, I'd probably be catching up on everything as I go.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time,
yeah,
I mean,
I'm not into it as much as that, but I definitely understand how much how much it means to you, and that's awesome. Like
I'm
you know
definitely
your priorities.
I'm definitely planning on going to celebrate. Like I really want to go. If it does end up coming, because the next one is to 2025, so they already said that 2025 is gonna be the next one. They just haven't said where yet. So they'll say at the end of this one, obviously. But I really hope it's Canada, because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go if it's Canada. Like I'm going.
Where do you think they would go? Toronto?
It would probably be Toronto. Yeah. I think that's usually where they go if it is, but
yeah, I guess either that or Vancouver. That's pretty much it.
yeah. I hope it's not Vancouver though.
Yeah, I doubt it would be Vancouver, but then again, a lot of film industry in Vancouver. So
yeah, well, a lot of it is filmed out west. Like there's a lot of stuff filmed out west, right? So you never know.
see, I'd be kind of torn on
that
that.
show. A little bit off topic from Star Wars, but The Last of Us.
Yep.
Are you guys into that? That was actually filmed here in Calgary, so
oh yeah,
kind of cool. Cool. There's like these two kids were cast in it that now they have a career in film that are like from Calgary and stuff. So it's kind of cool.
it definitely cool if bringing the locals in too, right, into the show. That's neat.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was a lot of casting for background, like zombies and whatever. Like,
oh yeah, for sure. There was.
I would be surprised by that.
Whatever big drive for extras and stuff.
Extras, yeah.
But the cool thing too, like there's a lot like around here. There's a lot of like we're close to the mountains. There's lots of like rural stuff that they went and filmed there and stuff. So we have a lot of different types of scenery around here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess it is kind of related because we got the same star on those two shows, Mandalorian and
Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal, yeah.
Yeah.
I was hoping to see him around town when they were filming, but never did.
Yeah.
Were you
I did
really
see
looking
a
though?
set though that they were doing, and there was actually two accidents right on the corner where it happened because people must have been
People
like,
just kept
"What's
watching.
going on over there?" So
that doesn't surprise me, man. Yeah.
Oh man. Just to go touch back on Celebration, what you guys were saying. I think as long as it's in North America, I'm gonna try to make a point to go. Just because I would want to be. I like you have wanted to go to one so badly.
Oh man, like it's on my bucket list, and like as a family, we're planning on going back to Disney. When my oldest is like 17, probably, like he's 14 right now. So my plan, like I want to go, Celebration, Disney, and blah blah blah, whatever. But if it's in like the eastern part of United States, like I would consider it. Like if it's Boston or like in the New England area, I would definitely would.
If it's in Boston or New York, I'm already there because I mean I practically live here. So
there we go. So if it happens, we're gonna have to meet up then.
Oh, I think if you're going to it, I'm meeting up with you either way. So,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
but I know you guys are saying maybe not Vancouver, but I wouldn't mind Vancouver because I have a lot of gaming guild, like friends from my guild from Star Wars: The Old Republic, Galaxy of Heroes. Um, I have a few of them that live in the Vancouver area. I'd love to be able to have an opportunity to go meet them along the way as well. So
Yeah,
that would
it
be
is a
especially
cool
nice
place
for
to
me.
visit. Like it's pretty cool city, I must say. If you've never been there.
Yeah, I've never been past Ontario, so
Oh,
I don't know the West at all. And especially now, it's like so much more expensive to travel, like
yeah.
across the prairies and all that stuff. Like it's
Oh yeah,
yeah
it's more expensive for me to fly where you are than it is for me to fly to South America.
yeah yeah. It's
Crazy.
stupid.
Scary thought.
It's scary, man. Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, I know a lot of people that live in or from Newfoundland and they live here in Alberta, and yeah, if they want to go back home, they're looking at like 3 times the cost of going to say Mexico or Vegas or like
Yeah. It's
Cuba,
nuts.
wherever.
It's almost scary.
Crazy.
You could probably fly to Mexico and then take the flight back there, and it's cheaper.
Yeah, it probably is. It probably is.
And I'm
We're
going
just
home.
gonna divert to Mexico first, and then we're
Yeah.
gonna go to Vancouver,
Go for a trip to go for a weekend in Mexico and then head
and
out
then go to
east.
Newfoundland.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh boy. All right. So I know we've kind of got a little off topic here, but
Veered off.
but nothing wrong with that. We've obviously got some good conversations going
Hey,
there.
this is still a podcast, and we can talk about anything Star Wars related, right? So
Hey, we're
right.
having a good time with it.
right.
So is there anything else you guys want to add in here, or
Just looking forward to more episodes, man. Can't wait.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
looking forward to next week. Looking forward to seeing what's going on with Bad Batch and what episode 2 of Mandalorian is going to look like.
And maybe even considering that now that I'm looking at it, and Celebration would be on our off week, maybe we might want to take one of those weeks and switch it up and maybe do a podcast for that, or I mean maybe that we'll talk. We can talk about that in the next month as it comes up.
Yeah, we can talk about that. I think. Whereas I don't know, like I mean, I know Swamp, you're not as like huge into it, but I don't want to like, you know,
I mean, you never know with some of
say
the
that we're gonna
announcements that
do it.
come
And
in,
then,
and
but
I mean there could be some good
up to you.
announcements and stuff. So, I mean, not that we can't cover it a week later, but
No,
yeah,
yeah,
we'll
for sure.
we'll see how it plays. But yeah, either way, it'll be
But yeah,
fun.
I do just to touch on that. I do enjoy the celebration. I'm just not as hardcore as you guys. I'm more just like kind of at the end of it I catch the highlights type of thing.
Yeah,
That's sort of how I do it. But yeah.
That's understandable.
no, that's cool too. It's like, yeah,
I mean,
And if we did do
there's
a
a lot of
podcast,
hours there, so
it's a lot.
yeah, and if we did do a podcast that weekend, then I would be interested to hear all the things that you guys have to say about it. So yeah, I would enjoy that, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure we can set it up. I mean, we another thing like next week's episode for Mandalorian 2 sorry, it's going a different way. It is going to be longer, just so you guys all know. It's going to be like 42 minutes, I think.
Sweet.
So it's a little longer. It's not the hour that we're all hoping, right, for every episode, but
I want 2 hours.
I would take yeah 2 hours for an episode. Imagine, it's like a movie, man.
Yeah. Well, I think the first
Insane.
episode was long, right? Of like of season 1, if I'm not mistaken. I think
Was
it
it?
was like
I think
I can't
even that
remember.
was only like about 15 minutes, if that.
Oh, really? Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I know we'll get longer episodes. It's just like I said, this first one that was my only gripe. It's like, God damn it, it's already over.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, no, that's not it. That's not it. No, they're showing
Yeah,
it's
basically.
over. Oh wow.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
But I do enjoy the credits on the Mandalorian when they show all those like what's it called, the like storyboard drawings or whatever
Oh
Oh,
it's
I
called.
love
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
so
love
cool.
that. It's cool.
Yeah, no, it's cool to see. It's cool to see like where they were when they did the storyboards, and then how like what they eventually did, because like some of the characters that they drew for some of the characters, like you're like, wow, that's what he looked like. That's what they were supposed to look like, and they ended up being like this, right?
Yeah.
It's really cool.
But yeah, one thing that they talk about when I was watching whatever behind the scenes Star Wars stuff at one point is they were talking about how each character has to be recognizable, even if it's just a silhouette or whatever the case may be. Like if you can't see all the features of the character, you got this like, silhouette. This is what that character is. So yeah, to see the storyboards and like kind of the imagery that they were going for, you're like, oh yeah, they captured that one really well, or whatever the case may be. I like seeing that stuff.
Yeah, and it's also nice because some of those storyboards are also old ideas too. It's not even just like storyboards from this. It's like some of these things are like old. I forget what his name was now. The old artist that did a lot of the concepts for Star Wars. His name, I'm blanking on it at the moment. Uh oh. Uh oh. Can you guys hear me now?
I can hear you. Yeah,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can hear
Yeah.
you left us again.
My mouse actually died while I was in the middle of talking to you
Oh,
guys.
okay.
So, so here I am talking. It's like, oh yeah, they don't hear a word I'm saying. This is great.
you.
No, I was saying, I can't think of the guy's name that actually did the old story concepts for Star Wars.
So I looked up a name here, Ralph
Ralph
Angus
McQuarrie.
McQuarrie.
McQuarrie,
Ralph
that's it.
McQuarrie?
Yes,
Ralph
yes,
McQuarrie. Yeah. Yeah.
yes. I don't know why that name blanked out for a minute, but some of those storyboards are actually his from back
Yeah.
in the day, and that's the even nicer side of it. Is you're seeing
Yeah,
some
that's
old like George Lucas concepts that are being brought into this show.
Yeah, because
yeah. I'm
there's
actually now that I looked it up, I'm looking at some of his drawings, and it looks like really similar style to the ones on the Mandalorian. There, that's pretty cool.
like there's the episode with the spider things, those spider things where they went to that frozen planet and
Yeah,
the spider things came out. That was an original Ralph McQuarrie like design.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
then they showed it, like they showed it after the show was done or whatever. But yeah, stuff like that. So I just want to be quickly. There's two episodes. Chapter 2, the child, and chapter 14, the tragedy. Uh, both episodes were 30 minutes long. So those are the shortest ones that have ever come so far.
Oh,
still
really?
too short.
Yeah. Way
Yeah,
too
so
short.
short. But then again, like watching those episodes, so much happens in that little half an hour span that I think they do a pretty good job of packing it in there.
Well, that's what I was saying. It's like that's why when I started talking about this episode, it's like I want to touch on that first. Just damn, why is it so short? Because I don't want to say another bad thing about this show afterwards. Because everything else I loved so much, it would just take away to keep talking about how long the episode was. But yeah, it was just done so well. And if this is the one that's setting the tone for the season, I'm really excited for this season.
Yep.
So
Yep.
So on that note, I think we should. I think we've done pretty good here today, guys.
2 hours.
Yeah,
Good
good,
podcast.
good fun chat. But let me go around to the two of you. Swampgrass, where can they find you?
So I'm on Twitch pretty much every day, guys. I'm there all the time streaming. Uh, Swampgrass 4 or twitch.tv/Swampgrass420. And yeah, I'm there Monday to Friday doing Swigga stuff. I'm also there on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday after that doing Marvel Strike Force, Cosmic Crucible stuff over there. So yeah, if you guys want to find me, I'm streaming all the time, guys. So come on down.
All right, and Andy, how about you?
Nowadays, like I'm trying to get back on Twitch, trying to get my schedule down. So I will be getting back onto Twitch onto a normal basis, hopefully soon. But you can find me. Just find me is on Linktree. So linktr.ee/Andy_beads, and everything there, everything about me and my community is all there. So Discord, Twitch, anything. So you guys can look it up there. I think eventually we're gonna have on our underneath our names what they're like, maybe a link or something under our names. I know we have our names there, but
Yeah, I did that preliminary just to get us started, and
so eventually we'll all be there. But yeah, that's the best place to find me. How about yourself, Eldor?
Me, well, surprisingly on this channel right here that you guys are watching.
Follow the channel, guys. Follow the channel. Come
on. Well, I say that for now because eventually I do want to get us onto our own channel for this. But for the past couple of weeks, like I said, I've been kind of down and out, sick, no voice. So I haven't been able to do as much, but now that my voice is back and going, you can definitely find me here. I'll be around again. You can also find me on YouTube under the same name, Darth Eldor, where now that my voice is also back, I do intend to start up the Hogwarts Legacy series that I wanted to do when it first came out, which I couldn't unfortunately do because I had no voice to talk. So we're gonna get that going, and hopefully we'll keep all the fun moving.
Yeah, I'm glad you're back in action, Eldor.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good to hear your voice again.
I'm happy to hear my voice again.
I bet.
All right. So on that note, everybody, want to thank you all for joining us here for the Shadow Collective again. This was episode 5. We had a great time. We'll be back in 2 weeks, hopefully, for episode 6. Cover more Bad Batch, more Mandalorian. Probably even have a quick preview of the Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah, there should be more information by that point.
Yeah, definitely. So it's going to be an exciting episode, and hope you'll all join us. We'll probably be right back here on this channel. And we'll see you soon. So thanks again, and the Force will be with you always.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.